Good morning, everybody. I'm Carolyn Vanslow from Back to Basics Exercise Therapy. Thanks for joining us today. For some of you that have done postural therapy, you will notice movements that you've done in the past, but I've got some new ones. And for those of you that have never done it before, please work at your own pace. If you find that you're having trouble doing something or it's too hard for you, just relax for a minute and then jump back in. We are not in a contest with each other. Everybody's body works at a different pace, and some of you will be able to do things that others can't, and others will be able to do things that you can't. But this is about rebalancing ourselves. We've all been through this COVID-19 quarantine, and we've probably been handling ourselves different. Maybe we've been moving more or moving less. But whatever it is, we're going to rebalance ourselves today. So first, I'd like you to start by standing up. I did ask that you would be barefoot because we want to be able to feel what the body is doing, and shoes will change how your body reacts to structural movements. So the first thing we're going to do is just stand up straight and shake it out. And I want you to close your eyes and just notice the position of your feet and where they are. Is the weight on your left foot, is it on the inside, the outside, the heel, the toe? Okay, make a mental note of that. Now the right foot, same thing, inside, outside, heel, toe, all of the above. But notice where your feet are and how you are weighted on them. You may find that the left is different from the right, and that's not unusual when there's muscle imbalances. Now I want you to pay attention to which side has the most weight on the floor, the left side or the right side. So just get quiet and breathe and just see what you come up with. If you want to write it down, because we are going to check this at the end. The other thing we're going to do in here is we're going to do breathing, and you'll hear me say breathe and let it out. I prefer breathing all through the nose because it keeps the parasympathetic system, which is rest and digest, it keeps us calmer and more relaxed. But you're welcome to do whatever it is that works for you or what you're accustomed to. But I will ask that you try to breathe into the deep belly, not up like this, but bring that air into the deep belly. And you'll find doing this over time, you'll be actually able to increase the expansion in your lungs. Before we get started, I have to do a disclaimer that if you've been told by your medical team not to exercise, then you can take it up with them as to why that you cannot do this. We won't be doing any cardio and anything at all that's going to interrupt your current situation, but it's up to you, and I hope you enjoy doing this. Okay, so we're going to get started now. You know where your feet are. I want you to put your feet hip width apart. When I talk about hip width, that's about a fist apart from the big toes here. And we're going to start by working out and loosening our shoulders. We're going to start going forward with the right shoulder, and we're going to do this just like this. Really bring that shoulder blade around in front. You may notice all sorts of things. You might feel tension in the neck. You may feel tension in the shoulder. And you might feel some tight muscles. And you may also find that they start loosening up. So we're going to do this. We're going to do a total of 20. And when you hit your 20, we're going to do the opposite side, which is your left side, keeping the arms straight. Don't bend the elbow and do it like this. Some of you will do that without even realizing that you're bending the elbow. I noticed that my cat has photobombed us. She likes to do that whenever I video in the house. For some reason, she wants to be on camera. So I hope she doesn't get in my way. So keep going until we hit that 20. When you're done with 20 on the left, now we're going to go backwards on the right and bring that shoulder up, drop it down. 20 of these. I'm not the best rep counter, so while talking, I don't necessarily count well, but we're going to do 20. I'm going to do what 20 feels like. Here we go. Keep going till we hit that 20, moving that shoulder, pulling it all around and loosening it up. Now the opposite side, really roll it around. You may find a little aching and burning in there. Not to be worried about, it just means they're sleepy little muscles and we got to wake them up. If you get tired and you feel like you can't do it, then just stop and jump in when you're ready. So as we get close to 20, there we go. Now we're going to pull our shoulder blades together like this. Just pull them together. We're going to do 20 of those, pulling those shoulder blades together, keeping the arms straight. There we go. Don't pull up like this. Try to pull together. Some of you are going to pull up, which is a pretty good indicator that there's a misfiring of the muscles. So you want to try and pull your shoulder blades together and down, or just pull them down and together. Whichever works for you, but this is pulling those shoulder blades together. Nice. Keep going till we hit 20. Now we're going to make a fist like a hitchhiker. Throwback to my Haight-Ashbury days. And we're going to turn it upside down and take this fist and put it alongside of the temples on your head right here. Now not this way, but we want that fist parallel to the head, keeping the body exactly where it is. Take a look at your feet. Make sure that you didn't have one leg that turned out. Some of you will be like that. You want to bring it back in because we're connecting with the hips as we do this. And we're going to go open and close, open and close, just like this. Don't be worried if you can't touch your elbows. Some of you are going to be very, very tight. When I've seen this exercise with people, the first time, some people are not even able to open and close. I've had to come along and manually do it for them so that their bodies can remember what to do, because their shoulders are so restricted from possibly their work, sitting at a desk. And you'll feel this. You'll feel it in the neck. You may feel it in the mid-back. Some of you may even feel it in the low back. We're going to do 20. There we go. Keep going till you hit that 20. I know it kind of burns. Don't worry about it. Okay, all done? Okay, as you recall, I requested that you have a chair. And what we're going to do now is we're going to sit on that chair on the edge. You're going to place your feet about hip width apart down here. Remember I said the size of the fist. You don't want one foot turned out. You want your feet straight ahead. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit. We're going to do a side twist. So first thing I want you to kind of pay attention to is your sit bones. And those are the bones right underneath your butt. And if you're sitting too far forward, you're not going to feel them. If you're leaning back, you're not going to feel them as well. I want you upright, and I want you to stick your tail out, because when you do that, it'll land you right on your sit bones. And what you're going to do is take your left hand and place it over your right knee. Now, some of you are going to turn like this. Nope, we don't want to do that. I want you to stand straight and sit straight. Put your arm out and turn. We'll be here for just a minute. We'll be here a total of 1 minute. There we go. Turning your head, sitting up straight. You'll feel the work. You'll feel a lot of it, especially if you're someone who's very rounded in the mid-back. You're going to have a little bit more of a challenge sitting up like this. You're going to feel the work in the mid-back and this area here. Just keep your chest up like you're at attention, sitting on your sit bones, and turn, and you'll notice as we stay like this, your body's going to loosen up and you're going to be able to turn even further. So when it's ready, turn. If you're like this, you're not going to turn and you're not going to be able to turn your neck. You need to be upright. There we go. Stretch that arm out. Breathe in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. And you'll notice when you breathe properly, you can come out of that you're going to be able to stretch further. So now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Right hand on the left knee, turn. Sit up on the sit bones. Chest up, at attention. And you'll notice that one side is tighter than the other. So that should tell you something. We are never the same on both sides. We handle things different with each side. Some side overworks, some sides underwork. So this is about trying to create balance within our system. Now what this is doing, for those of you that have a rounded mid-back from being sitting at a desk or driving or texting or looking at something, we want to stretch it out, because when that back is rounded, you start losing function, especially in the neck and, believe it or not, the low body. Okay, come around. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, now we're going to approach the next exercise in two different ways. Some of you are not going to want to get on the floor. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring one leg up like this while you're sitting on your sit bones. Now you'll see I'm pretty tight. I had to pull my leg up. If there's too much trouble pulling the leg up, I'm going to show you an option on the floor. You want to flex your foot towards your knee, and then you're going to sit up straight, and you'll feel a lot of the work going on in that right hip. Sit up straight and breathe. You can pull your shoulder blades down and together. That'll put you in the right position, and you'll notice when you do that, you're going to feel more work going on in the hip. You may feel some work also in the inner thigh. Just depends where you're tight, and when we get to the opposite side, you may feel completely different. You may feel the work in completely different areas. Breathe. Sit up straight. Flex the foot. Bend it towards the knee. Press the knee towards the floor. And as your body loosens up, you'll be able to push that knee further. Almost there. We're going to stay 1 minute on each side. Like I said, creating balance. Okay, great. Now we're going to put the left leg on top of the right one. Sitting on your sit bones. Now, this is where you're going to notice whether or not something is really different on the opposite side. You're going to flex the foot and push the knee down. Sit up straight on those sit bones. You can pull your shoulder blades together. You don't have to keep them there, but that will help keep you in perfect alignment as far as the posture, the head, neck, and hip. And breathe in breathe out. Now I was just able to release a little bit more, so let's do it again. Breathe in, breathe out, try to release more and press towards the floor. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And you'll notice that your feet, like especially the one on the floor, may try to turn out. Don't let it do that. Make it behave. We want it straight ahead. We want you in anatomical position. Okay, great. All right, now we're going to stand up and we're going to do some, we call them cats and dogs. This is going to be standing cats and dogs. Feet hip width apart, like I've shown you already. Hip width apart, hands on the knees, and this is a pelvis movement. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that tail under, and then we're going to push it back out, pulling the blades together. Pull your shoulder blades together, under, out, under, out. And you may feel some work in this low back. You may have a little tenderness, a little tightness. One of the reasons we have back pain is because our pelvis is not working properly. And the poor back tries to compensate for it, but the problem is usually down below. We are a hip-driven society who unfortunately has gotten away from using our hips properly. Just keep going, pull the blades together, pull the tail under, pull the blades together. One more, and pull the blades together. Okay, great. Now you'll put your hands like so. If you need some help getting up and down. And what we're going to do now is we're going to lay flat on our backs and we're going to bend our knees. And this time, this is going to be a little bit more difficult. I'll give you an option if you can't do this one. I'll show you the one we're going to do, and then I will give you the option for those that aren't ready for this. You're going to cross your right leg over your left like a man, just like we did when we were sitting up. And you're going to raise that left leg up. You're going to flex your feet. That means pull them towards the knee. And then you're going to pull the left leg towards your body, and you're going to push the right ankle and the right knee away from you. So that's quite a movement. So don't do it yet. So we're going to do that on both sides. Your option is you can do this on the floor, flex the foot, and press the knee. We're going to do this exercise for 1 minute. So if you're feeling like this is a little bit more than what you're ready for, then you stay down here and you push, you flex the feet and push the knee. Are you ready? We're going to get started now. We're going to do 1 minute per side. Up we go. Flex the feet. Bring the left leg, pull the left leg towards the chest. Press the right knee away from you. Now, I've heard a lot of stories about this. It's not an easy move. And the best part about it is when you're done. You want your hands out in front of you, your body flat on the floor. Keep pulling and pressing. Pull with the left, press with the right. If you get a little spasm, you can stop for a minute or you can wait and let the spasm quit. The spasm is a good sign that we're dealing with a weak muscle. And a lot of times I do give clients the choice. You can either stay with the spasm and then let it quit, or you can drop down and stop. Okay, put your legs down. Now we're going to go on to the other side. Quick review. If you can't do this move, you're going to bend the left leg at the knee, press the left ankle against the right knee, flex the foot, and push the knee away. For those of you that want to do this move, up we go. You're going to pull the right leg towards you and push the left knee away. Keep the feet flexed. Keep the upper body flat on the floor. Do not let your stomach do any work. And some of you may notice that when you do the left side, that's the one we're doing, that your stomach might try to do the work, but when you did the right side, it didn't. So that again tells you the imbalances that are going on when you're upright and walking around. And those imbalances turn into long, weak muscles or short, tight muscles, which create pain and eventual injury. So just keep pulling the right leg and pressing the left knee. We've got less than 8 seconds to go, and then we can get out of this move. Keep going, almost there, and relax. Okay, now we're going to do pelvic tilts. Pull the back off the floor, push it on the floor. Do not remove your bum off the floor. This is really just another move for the pelvis. And we're going to do 15 of these guys. You might be feeling a little bit stiff as you do this. You might feel some tension in certain areas, but in no way is it bringing harm to you. It's creating range of motion that is necessary for being pain-free and doing what the heck you want. So when you finished your 15, you can rest and relax. Breath in, breath out, breathe in, and breathe out. Now, we're going to bring our chair up close, and when you do this exercise, it's real important that your hips and knees are at a 90-degree angle. And what I mean is, if you're back like this, just sit like this and you'll see your back is off the floor. We don't want your back off the floor. We want it on the floor so you can feel it. So you're going to get close, just like this. And you're just going to kind of pay attention to that back and see, is it even on both sides? Are you weighted exactly the same, right to left hip, right to left shoulder? Is one shoulder hanging up like this, or one is rounded? Palms up. Breathe in. And breathe out. For those of you that suffer with low back pain, this is called static back. And I have a lot of clients that have their programs, but at night, when they come home from work, particularly if there's someone that's on their feet, but it doesn't matter if you're on your feet or you're sitting. The bottom line is this is a very passive exercise, and what it does is it relaxes all those spinal muscles, and you'll get some relief from that. Some of my clients say they stay like this for 10 or 15 minutes. I know I've certainly done it a few times. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do pullovers, and you're going to clasp your hands together like you're praying, and you're going to lock out your elbows. Now the photography is going to allow you to think that my elbows are bent when I'm doing this, but I'm not. For some reason, even when they're locked out, they look like they're bending. So we're going to lock out the elbow. You're going to bring it down here like so. What this is doing is it's moving those shoulder blades, and you can see that I'm not really hitting the floor, but I can feel the work in underneath my armpits. I can feel it in my neck, and I can feel it in my low back. Just keep going, just like this. You don't have to hit the floor. If you do, that's great, but do not force. Your body is going to let go when it's good and ready. And the one thing you don't want to do with tissue of any kind is force it into doing something when it's not ready, because you will loosen up. Although I know a certain football team that never did pass this exercise, but they still did it anyway. All right, keep going. And you'll see now you might be loosening up. Some of you may already be touching the floor on this. And some of you may not be. Don't worry, we're not in the competition. We're all working at our own level. When we hit that number 20, we are going to stop. Almost there. Great. Now we're going to put our hands, our arms on the floor. Forearms are going to be perpendicular to the floor. Make a little fist, and I want your elbow right across from your shoulder. And what you're going to do now, and you'll see my chest move, I'll demonstrate it. We want both of these hands the same. We don't want one down here or one up there. We want them parallel. So you'll see as I push my elbows in, you'll see my chest rise. What's happening is my shoulder blades are moving across the spine like they're supposed to. So let's get started now. All you do is press your elbows into the floor. That will move your shoulder blades. Keep going. I'm going to do 20 of these. Very nice. Very, very nice. Just keep going. You'll notice perhaps you'll see one side is not moving the same as the other. That's a pretty good indicator if one of them is not moving as easily, that you may have a little stickiness there, and you definitely don't want to have a shoulder not operating and functioning properly, because the shoulders and hips work together. And what I have learned in this work is that if the left shoulder is compromised, so will the right hip. Even if you don't feel any symptoms, you'll see it show up in the opposite hip. So I always tell people the shoulders are married to the hips, the right shoulder to the left hip, the left shoulder to the right hip. Okay, great. All done. Breath in and out. 2 more breaths. Very nice. Now we're going to roll over and we're going to get on all fours. Put our hands up on this chair. And the way we do this exercise, I want your hips over your knees at all times. We don't want to be like this or this. It'll take away what the exercise is going to do. We're going to put our hands up here on the chair, and we can adjust the intensity by how far away our arm, or by moving forward or backwards. I'm going to stay right about here. And what I'm doing now is making sure those hips are over the knees, and I'm dropping. You can see me drop my back in, stick my bottom out, and let your head drop down, and get a good stretch on that neck. And we're going to stay here for 1 minute. A lot of you are going to feel a lot of work in those shoulders. So if you feel like your shoulders are just really straining, then don't make it as intense. Maybe bring the hands back here or here. I like mine intense because my shoulders are used to it. What this is doing is it's elongating those muscles in your back. It's returning you back to your normal spinal curve. A lot of us have lost it from all our sitting and the way we live. And it's requiring, you may find when you do this that you can feel a little more pulling on one side or the other. That's just giving you lots of information that you may have some tightness on that particular side in the muscles. This is also helping with hip extension. There we go, and we come up. Nice. Very nice. Okay, now fun part. Some of you are going to be very, very tight, and you're not going to want to do the exercise. There's a modified version and there's a full version. Doing the full version when your body is not ready is not going to help you elongate some of those tight muscles. So because a lot of us do sitting at our desks during the day, we get very, very tight hamstrings. The opposite of those hamstrings are the quads. So in the next few exercises, what we're going to do is we're going to tighten the quadricep muscles while we stretch the hamstrings. Now, there's two ways to do this. I'll show you the modified version. You're going to put your knee, your left knee behind your right heel, and you're going to come up like this. If you can't get your heel to the floor, do not worry. Then stay up here. You're going to tighten those quads and stick your bottom out. And you'll feel that hamstring is really going to stretch. I want you to keep your weight more on the big toe of the foot. Now, if you're one that can do this, you're going to drop down, tighten the quads as much as you can, and that's going to be the hard part, is remembering to keep those quads tight. So let's go into that exercise now. It's going to be 1 minute per side. Let's go. Now put your hands down, tighten the quad, keep the weight on the inside towards the big toe, about 60% of your weight on that big toe, keeping that quad tight. And you'll feel that pulling along that hamstring. And you can see some of you are going to want to come out of this position sooner than 1 minute. If you feel like it's really too much of a struggle and it's more than you can handle, then give yourself a break. You don't have to learn how to do everything the first time. The whole point of this is, if you can't do it exactly perfect for 1 minute, then do it exactly perfect for 1 second. Because each time you come back to this, you're going to build on it and become more and more better at what you're doing. Okay, we'll come out of that. That minute is up. Now let's go to the opposite side. Remember, right knee against the left heel, go up. If you're doing modified, stay here. You don't have to put that heel down unless it'll go down. For those of you that have a little more range of motion, you're going to drop down, tighten the quad, keeping the weight 60% on that big toe. Let the neck drop. Don't hold the neck up. That is going to only create more forward head posture with that rounded mid-back, which is exactly what you don't want. So tighten the quad. Let your neck drop. Tighten both quads. There you go. And you can drop down if you got some movement there. You may find that one side is a lot tighter than the other, and that's very, very normal. The idea behind doing these in a timed way is to be able to create balance on both sides of the body. And right now you're probably all getting a window into certain body parts are different than the same body part on the opposite side. Tighten the quad. Keep it tight. Let the head drop. And come out of it. There we go. Nice. Now, let's work on that low back. So this one is called hanging. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from this exercise into another one. So we're going to be looking at the ground quite a bit for the next couple of minutes. So I want you to put your feet hip width apart like we've talked about. I'll do it from the side so you can see me. And you're going to lock out your knees Tighten your quads. And you're going to roll down as far as your body's going to let you. Now, I'm pretty flexible this way, but I'm not really flexible. I'm more of a cheater. It comes out of here instead of here. So I'm going to stay down here with my quads tight. You'll feel a low back stretch. There we go. And just stay down here, lock out the knees, tighten the quads. Let your head hang. You can put your hands like this, whatever you want to do. Just don't push up. Don't use them to help you. And stay where you have to stay. Some of you are going to be up here. And if that's all you can do, it's better than you did a minute ago. So don't worry about it. We're all a work in progress, and there's nobody that's an expert and can do everything perfect. We've all got stuff that we can't do as well as the other guy. Okay, relax. Now you're going to come to the side, turn like this. I'm going to move my chair out of the way so I don't knock myself in the head. This is actually my cat's ottoman. I bought it for me, she took it over. So we're going to spread our feet. You want to make sure you're not on a slippery surface when you do this so they don't slide out from underneath you. My feet are straight ahead and apart. And what we're going to do is drop down, and we're going to stay in this position for 30-second intervals. So I'm going to reset my clock here. So it'll tell us when the 30 seconds is up. And we're going to drop down. Lock out the quads, tighten the knees, stay here, and keep your weight on the inside of the foot while you lock out those knees and quads. If you feel like you can spread your feet further, that's great. Just make sure that your feet are not sliding. Like on this carpet here, my feet are sliding, so I'm going to stay here. Okay, now, keeping the feet straight ahead, we're going to walk over here, and this is going to give us a nice lateral twist on that spine while we lock out the quads, extend the knee. This will be the longest 30 seconds of your life. Keeping those knees locked out, those quads tight. And as soon as we're done, we're going to move to the left. Keep tight. Stay like this. Okay, move to the opposite side. And you may notice that you're not as tight or more tight on this side. Lock out the quads. Got a nice twist there for the spine, lateral flexion, which is very healthy for us. Lock out those quads. Keep the knees tight with the weight on the inside, these big toes. Stay like this. We're almost there. Now back to the middle. You'll notice you're further on the floor. We're closer to it anyway. Lock out those quads. Feet on the weight on the inside of the feet. Nice. We're almost there. Keep going. You may notice that you release a little bit more as you get down to the floor. And that's good. That means you've done some great work. Awesome. Now come up. Use your chair if you need to balance. And roll up. Very nice. Now, we're going to try something. What you're going to do is you're going to go into a semi-lunge, turn the foot out. And when you do this exercise, it's really important that you pretend like there's a wall behind you. And you're going to put your hand behind you, one over your head, and you're going to pull, but you're going to twist. See how I'm twisting my left side as I go down. We're going to hold that for 1 minute. Actually 30 seconds. Twist and hold. Straighten out that left leg. Keep the shoulder pulled back, and you may feel a lot of work in here. Just depends where you feel it. This is a nice lateral flexion of the spine. Don't try to force anything. Just breathe. You may find you drop down a little more. As you do this, come up. Now, we're going to go to the opposite side. So you're going to straighten out the right foot. Turn the left one like a lunge. And you're going to come up. Put your hand down behind your leg. Pull that shoulder behind you. Pull the right shoulder behind you. So it's like you're on a wall. Now you may feel a lot of work on this. Maybe some things you didn't feel on the other side. Go ahead and drop down if you need to. There you go. Good. Almost done. Keep that shoulder pulled back and come up. Great. All right, now we're going to do some butt work. Some of you are going to be able to do the first one that I show you. Others will want to do it the second way. What I would recommend in the beginning, if you feel like you don't have the best balance, just put your hands somewhere nearby, something, even if you have to stand next to a wall. You're going to stand up straight, chest out, put your weight evenly on both feet if you can, and you're going to start squeezing your butt cheeks. Very nice. Remember, keep both legs tight and squeeze those butt cheeks. With the foot that's behind you, you're going to feel more work on that side. And you can see my right side is my nemesis. And just for an FYI, I am right dominant. So what does that tell you? Keep going. Okay, now we're going to change. Opposite side. Same distance. And you're going to put weight on both sides, both feet evenly, and you're going to squeeze that butt cheek. Don't forget to breathe. There. Nice. Now, coming to a close. You're going to put your feet hip width apart again, maybe a little wider. And we are going to drop into what is called a free squat. And we're going to stay in this position anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. If you can't stay in it that long, then don't. If it's bothering your knees, then I would recommend maybe coming up a little bit higher, but still trying to do the position. So here we go. Let's set that timer. And hands out in front. Don't bend forward because that's not doing you any good. Just go as deep as you can with your hands out. Try to put the weight, balance the weight on your feet. What we're doing now is we're doing rebalancing, which we've been doing all along. But this is going to complete our session today. Okay, we've hit 30 seconds. If you think you can handle another 30, stay like this. You'll feel working in the quads. Chest up. Pull those shoulder blades back. Arms out. Or you can go like this too. And we're almost there. We got less than 5 seconds left. And stop. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna reboot. So you'll see left arm to right leg. We're gonna do 20 of these. Reset everything. Just march in place. You'd be surprised. If you've ever been to a chiropractor and they tell you to walk around after they adjust you, well, we're doing the same thing. We're giving the body a chance to reorganize itself because we've re-educated it on how we want it to work. And when you're done, just shake it out. Now, let's go back to where we were when we first started. Feet straight ahead. Close your eyes and see what's happening with the feet. The ideal position is to have the foot fairly well balanced weight-wise on both sides, in the middle, ball of the foot and the heel. Some of you may not be like that right now. You still may have a little difference on both sides. But the question is, did you improve from the beginning? Now I want you to check and see. Do you have more weight on the right side than the left side, or the left side and the right side? So just how are you feeling? And there we have it. Now you know why we call it rebalancing, because what we did was we took your body and put it through a series of changes to get it to function better and to activate better. And what that does is it rebalances you. We loosen the short, tight muscles, and we activate the sleepy, weak muscles. I want to thank you for showing up today. Any comments? I'm more than happy to hear about it. You can email me on the same one that you received this invitation on. And I look forward to the next time we meet. Thank you.